Hello and welcome everybody to the Holistic Inner Balance podcast. My name is Karen O'Donnell and I am a nurse in New Hampshire. I started this podcast to really create the health and wellness space so that I could align with all of my guests that are coming on. And my guests are typically business owners who have the thought process and the alignment of health and wellness in this space. And Josh is 100% aligned with the mission of bringing good health and wellness to people. So I want to introduce my friend, Josh. So let me tell you a little bit about Josh. Joshua Gorero. He is a digital media and communications strategist. I had to practice that a little bit. The strategist, I was like, strategist, what is that? Not usually in my vocabulary. So for his day job, he creates branding for print and non-print materials, social media management, creation, and planning across a portfolio of clients, particularly in the nonprofit space. He extends that on a personal level for for-profit organizations and small businesses, and he really enjoys being a thought partner with people. I love that. Welcome, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So, on a personal note, I will tell the audience that Josh and I have worked together for my branding, for my logos, and I will show you those in the very near future. But I do have to just first of all say that he's very thoughtful with the experience that you want to portray with your brand. So if you come to him with an idea, or sometimes even not having an idea, he's got the experience to be able to pull in the right fonts, the right colors, and the right messaging that really lands so much better than anything that a non-marketer's brain can process. So I'm going to let you take it from there, Josh, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with this.
Yeah, again, thank you for just like what I like to do on the day to day, and both my day job and then outside of my day job is trying to be a thought partner. And what I like doing particularly is to focus on what a client or a partner needs. And how do you convey that in a way that is visually compelling, but also that is centered into the work and the mission of the organization.
Mm.
So, for instance, um, for EFT and for holistic balance, like the inner holistic balance, one of the things that we wanted to convey is how does the work that you do, Karen, convey out to people outside of the organization, and how can the platforms and services that you provide um, help other people. So like that's the type of things I'm thinking about in terms of branding
Yeah.
and just the overall design. So one of the things is one of the things that I think about is how colors are important in showing, I guess, wellness and someone's well-being, or how we could use circles, shapes, right? Circles, colors, all of these things to bring about something that like conveys someone emotionally. So like
Mhm.
that's the thing I'm thinking about. But then also for imagery, so like photography, that's another thing that I have a passion for is photography. How do you convey particular emotions at the moment that I see it? Or how do I want a client, say like for an event, how do we want to uplift the event? If it's celebratory, if it's something um for people to take a pause at. Like these are the things that I'm thinking about in
Yeah. Yeah.
branding and
Yeah.
marketing.
So to backtrack a little bit, you have worked with me three different times.
Yes, that is
One
correct.
once on my primary company, which is Caring Nurses Staffing Agency, and I had just this basic logo because it was in 2012 that I started that company, and I like created a logo basically from like Vistaprint. So I didn't have any experience, and I just had kind of this thing that really spoke to me, but you were able to help me to kind of craft what the message really should be. So we were able to rebrand that. So when you came into the next company, Imperfect EFT, it really was, I didn't know what I wanted to create. So you helped me through that process. And with the colors and the circular logo, it really resonated, and it helped me as your thought partner, which I love that. I've never heard of that. That probably is something in your your circle, but I've never heard of a thought partner. I absolutely love that. And then, the third aspect, when I came to you for a different logo for the Holistic Inner Balance, I had something in mind, and I wanted it to be, specific kind of color scheme and look. And you were able to create it with like 10 different varieties that I wouldn't have even thought of. So it really was helpful for me to be able to say, that one looks good, but maybe something else. And to have so many options was really incredible. So I want to first show people that literally my vision for the Holistic Inner Balance was to be aligned with the colors of the energy fields of the body, of the chakras, and giving you that information, and you just kind of running with it and knowing that that's where the alignment was going to be for my messaging and my company. Literally, this is just amazing. I'm going to just give this a little bit of a twist there. So if you can see that these are literally all of the colors of the chakras, and the inner balance on the inside is the differentiating between like that, struggle of the first three chakras for your kind of fight and flight versus like the uplifting, your, going into love, into happiness and abundance. So literally creating this has been a game changer, because it absolutely 100% was what I wanted, and I didn't know how to get there. And I just gave you the idea and you just ran with it. So thank you for that.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I was thinking about, especially with that design,
Mm,
how they're not necessarily concentric circles that go out. They're all intertwined because
yes.
in terms of the chakras, the levels of chakras, they're
Yeah.
all intertwined with one another. So like that's another thing that I was thinking about. How do you make sure it is true to the mission, but also true to where the roots are?
Yeah.
Um, and I do think that thought partnership is where this comes from.
Yeah.
I think thought partnership is a very important asset to have,
Mhm.
especially when everyone has their ideas, everyone has things they want to create. Um, and I think it's like the next level idea of brainstorming is just thought
Mhm.
partnership. Because
Yeah.
brainstorming, you could have, one-off time to
Yeah.
go back and forth, create something, or strategize on something. But thought partnership is brainstorming, but continually brainstorming with people and iterating on that.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen so that people can see another example of what you have created. So this is the first logo that you created for caring nurses. And I really think it resonates because my, again, original logo was just kind of like thrown together. It wasn't personalized. And you brought in the different colors of the sea that really made it pop. And we worked on that, kind of back and forth, but it really created that softness that I wanted other people to know is very specific for what my branding is. I want people to know that the nurses that I'm going to send are going to be very experienced, very caring, and we are going to kind of work together in that community. And that's why it just like blended so beautifully. So that is an example of one of your amazing logos. And I'm going to see if I can try to share one more. Um, that is, it's going to be a little bit better for the holistic inner balance one. Let me see if I can get to that a little bit easier. I'm not the techiest person in the world. Um, this is not what I want. Hang on. And the interesting thing is that I think I, on my end, kind of screwed it up a little bit, but it came out with a black contrast, but this kind of like shows people how it, can you see that?
Uh, and can you change your screen?
Change my screen. Stop pausing. Can you see that?
I just see your Gmail.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, not techie.
All good.
Um, so I'm going to stop sharing that and I'm going to come back and this will probably be the point that, there we go. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, again, I'm not sure how I got it to the dark background, but again, as you were saying, they all align together and they all overlap, which I hadn't even thought of. I thought just I wanted the color scheme and it just like it just pops. It just looks so beautiful in terms of what you created, how we created it together. And this is truly the journey. And I love that we had the thought processes and again, you having the experience that you do, myself not being in the marketing space, I don't know how to make things flow. So your experience really comes into play. So I know that I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I know that we talked a little bit about you having the experience with nonprofits as well as for profits. Do you have one particular type of business model that you really like to focus on, or that is more fun for you?
Um, the branding marketing space is something that I do like the most in
Mhm.
terms of just packaging, branding assets, um, creating the print and non-print
Okay.
branding assets. So that's like, let's say flyers, social media templates. Those are the things that I like doing. Merch, swag, all of these things, I think brings something that is cohesively unique.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things that I like working on, particularly
Yeah.
both in my day job and then outside. In terms of messaging, I like more quippy type messaging.
Hmm.
So if there is a campaign strategy or a marketing strategy that requires, like one line messages, like that's the thing that like makes me think, oh, how can we condense a particular idea into something that is easily understandable for everyone?
Yeah. So I want to get into the topic of, all the content that's out there on social media. And it seems like a lot of it is completely mindless. And, there's just so much out there, right? And it's like
Mhm.
trying to get to the algorithm to get to the right space. There are a lot of moving pieces and parts.
Mhm.
So what you're bringing to the audience for a client or a business is more directly marketed to an actual client or a potential client. So it's not just about whatever content you want to put out there, it's more thoughtful.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that that would create more of a successful business model for
Mhm.
marketing versus just putting any sort of, content out there to be a content driver, right?
Right, exactly. Because yes, like people could create content and then just post it and just see where it goes, and then from there, um, filter it out and then hone into like what's been successful.
Yeah.
The things that I do at both at my day job and then outside of my day job is to particularly look at the messaging ahead of time so that we could help create new narratives or
Mhm.
create a lasting brand awareness for these organizations. So, for example, um, thinking about I work for a small business has who sells particular body butters, and this is outside of my day job. And she, particularly, her name is Tamara, and she has a really impactful story
Mm.
on why she created these body butters. She has a history that is incredibly captivating. She has a story to share, and she's using this body butter and the teas that she makes as well as a way to help other people. So, like the messaging that we've been focusing on is how is your story grounded in the product that you're selling?
Mm,
Like, why should people look into your product? Because
yeah,
there's so many body butters around, but like, what makes it so unique to you? And
yeah.
the underlying thing for her is I'm trying to build up from what I have lost in the past. So it's a
Mhm.
beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. And that's the type of thing that I'm trying to help elevate
Yeah.
so that people will associate her brand with transformation, with, going up and passing the obstacles that would generally be there
Mm,
against her. So that's just the things I've been trying to help particularly.
yeah. So you really, really bring the essence of the person and their story to the
Exactly.
marketing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
That's really,
just to add is
yeah.
just, I think it's because people want real stories
Yeah.
with their marketing. Like there are so many companies that have, X, Y, and Z products, but then how do you make sure it is pertaining to you? Like how can I benefit or how can I resonate with the branding and the marketing that you have, right? So like those are the things that I'm thinking about in terms of connecting people's stories is because people want a real person. People want the mission, they want
Mm,
the conviction of why, it's a passion for these people who are trying to create
yeah. Yeah.
either services or products that make people feel better, feel feel that they could support another person. I think that's like really important in terms of modern day marketing and branding
Yeah.
is how do you make sure it is bringing back to the people?
Mm. And I think that that is going to be so much more important in the future because everything is AI driven. So you can create 1,000 videos in a matter of seconds, but they're
Mhm.
all computer generated.
Right.
So, in this past year, I think you and I have seen that people are wanting more content with real people and what their stories are. So it's almost like the AI backlash that,
Mhm.
yeah, AI is great and you
Mhm.
can create a lot of content, but it's like meaningless content if you don't have a person behind it. And if you have that mission of keeping it real, keeping it people oriented, and telling the story, there is going to be so much more value, especially, moving forward,
Mhm.
that I think that your value is going to be so much greater in terms of what you can do for the people and for their missions. And
Mhm.
you probably I can envision that you actually almost like coach them through that process, that you help them to really figure out what their mission is,
Mhm.
because some people don't really ever question it. Well, I make this product, so I want to sell it. There's a lot more to it, right? And why
Right.
people want to buy from you, and your mission and your vision and why you got here is incredibly important. So, you being thoughtful about that and bringing that to the messaging, I'm sure is going to just like make all the difference in the world for your business,
Mhm.
your side business that will become your full-time business, and to be able to grow and expand everybody else's support and their businesses.
Exactly. Exactly.
So exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I think also it has to do with like everyone has, if let's say you are creating a product, a service, everyone has their mission, they have it in their head. How do you just communicate that is the most important part
Yeah.
because there are so many reasons, right? There are so many reasons for to create something, to share something, and it's you are bringing a piece of yourself into this. So, how do you convey that is
Mm,
something that one helps you understand like your own self, but then
Mhm.
also helps understand what makes you going and what drives you and what brings you to your passions.
Yeah.
And then that also is conveyed. I've been using the word conveyed because I feel like that is a very important word right
Mhm.
now. Conveying how you feel, conveying how people will feel and understand the person that is trying to share something to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, how can people find you, Josh?
People could find me on social media. I'm on social media. If you go on Instagram, it is josh.guerrero. On LinkedIn, you could find me on LinkedIn too. It's Joshua Gorero, Gorero. There, you could also find me, where else? Um,
I saw that you have something about Joshua at joshua.cooks. You want to get into that?
oh shoot, yes.
Aha!
So I have a So one of my other passions is cooking and photography, and I like blending it together with food photography. So Joshua Cooks on Instagram, joshua.cooks. It's my my little baby. Just showcasing the dishes I'm making, but also sharing my art of photography and showcasing really pretty dishes. So you could also check out joshua.cooks for food content.
Mhm.
I've been meaning to share more, so be on the lookout for that.
This is your call to action. You're called out.
And then let's see where else. Yeah, particularly those social media accounts. I do have a TikTok that's just more so for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you could kind of find me anywhere on socials. But then you could also contact me on through email, which is joshua.guerrero@gmail.com.
Awesome. We will link all of those to this video, and I definitely will follow you on your Joshua Cooks because I have experienced your cooking, maybe not the actual photography, but the food, and it's amazing. So,
Thank you.
I can't wait to follow you on that, and yeah, good luck with all of your ventures, and I definitely would recommend anybody reach out to Joshua for any sort of support, any sort of thought partnering, and if you just want to see some really good food content, I'm sure that we will all be appreciating that. So thank you for joining, and we look forward to seeing you next time.